Hello Creative Tartanites and welcome to my question and answer video. It's a little bit longer than I had anticipated. I'm actually recording the intro at the end of recording the video. If you like chatty videos and you like question and answer videos, then this is the video for you. Grab yourself a cuppa, listen to it whilst you're working if you like. It would be my honour to be your background noise. So let's get started. The first question is from Vintage Nikki and she asks, how did you get into art and did you go to college or uni for art? So thank you Nikki for that question. It's a really interesting question and it will produce, I hope, an interesting answer. I got into art when I was young. I can't remember how old I actually was, but I definitely was young. And I used to love drawing, I used to love doodling. I have quite vivid memories of when I would lay on the grass in the summer with my book open and a pencil and some paper, and I would draw things, particularly out of my encyclopedia that in fact it wasn't an encyclopedia, it was an atlas. There was lots of different pictures of places as well, and I seem to remember drawing the Golden Gate Bridge. That is the one memory that I really do have that's quite vivid. I've also drawn a self-portrait when I was roughly around about 12. I'm guessing I was about 11 or 12 because of the haircut that I had, and maybe in one of my other videos when I share some of my older art you might be able to see that portrait. So I started when I was young. I loved art. I took art in school, much to the dismay of my parents, because in order to take art I couldn't take French as well. My parents wanted me to take French and not art, but I was desperate to take art, and so they eventually relented and I was allowed to take art. However, as a teenager I wasn't a particularly confident teenager, and so I was told by someone that you've got to be the best of the best to get into art school, because that was what I wanted. I wanted to go to art school, but I allowed my insecurities to stop me from applying. I started to believe that I just wasn't good enough to get in, and so I didn't apply. It's the one thing that I do regret in life. I don't regret it to the point where I am paralysed and can't do anything else, but I certainly do regret not going to art school from that perspective, because it was something I really wanted to do, and I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't have the confidence to actually do it, because now I have a lot more confidence than I've ever had, and that could be an age thing. I'm certainly not young, as you can probably tell. You know, grey hair and wrinkles and all that, but I still think I have a lot to offer, and so I do these videos and I enjoy doing these videos. Sometimes it can be a bit tedious to do the editing, because it can take me 2 or 3 days to do the editing of one video, but it makes my day when people put in the comments you know, a word of wisdom, a thank you, or you know, it's just lovely to read your comments, so I appreciate that you do that, so thank you. So no, I didn't go to art school, so I didn't officially get qualified, although I do have my O-grade art, so I do have a qualification in art. I just didn't take it further. There are sometimes I think, will I take it further now? But I'm not really sure what I would gain out of it. I'm still learning now, you know, as good as I might have gotten, I can still get better, and I think any one of us could improve, because at the end of the day, learning doesn't, you know, you don't just learn something and that's you've learned it. Learning is lifelong, and who knows, maybe I will go to art school eventually. But at this moment in time, I don't have any plans to because I don't think it's going to stop me from being an artist. I don't think that having an art qualification makes you any more of an artist than someone who doesn't. So I'm proud to say that I'm self-taught, but by the same token, being self-taught, I've learnt a lot from other people. So I didn't just do it solely. It's not just me. I didn't just suddenly learn how to be an artist. I watched other people painting. I watched other people drawing. I've, seen paintings at galleries and all that kind of thing. And so that's how I've learned. So thank you, Nikki, for that question. I hope that I haven't rambled on too much in answering it. So moving on to the next question. So Michaela asks, what's your favourite art supply and what's an art supply you would like to try out? Rico also asks, what's your favourite media to work with? So I will answer both of them. I don't have any one favourite. I'm very eclectic. I do enjoy oils, I enjoy acrylics, I really like watercolour paints as well. There's just so much fun you can have with all the different types of media. And just recently I have been getting into painting digitally, and there are some who would say that digital art is not real art, but I completely and utterly disagree. I think all art is art, and art is what you want it to be. You can agree with me or you can disagree with me, that's entirely up to yourself. But as far as I'm concerned, I think any art, if somebody says it's art, it's art. May not be art that I like, but it's art. And with regards to the second part of that question, which was, is there any medium that you would like to try? I'm trying to think if there's something that I haven't tried yet. When I was a late teenager, I did try a little bit of clay. Really thoroughly enjoyed that. I've used air dry clay recently. That was fun. I've done a little bit of jewellery making. I also did a little bit of jewellery making when I was at the college as well, when I was around about 16. I enjoy using charcoal. I enjoy using graphite. So I'm really struggling to think off the top of my head if there's something that I haven't tried. Probably lino cutting. I do have some equipment that I can try it with, but I haven't actually tried lino cutting. So yeah, that would probably be the one thing that I would like to try. Something I would really like to improve on in terms of my use of is alcohol markers. I've got a reasonable strength of skill in using markers, and I can kind of pretty much get a reasonable piece from using markers, but I would love to improve it. I would really love to improve that. In fact, it's not a medium that I would like to try, but more a technique, something that a skill that I would like to learn. And that, because it's just come to me, and that is animation. I suspect that I probably won't do it because of the time it takes to learn and the time it takes to actually do something. However, having said that, I think something simple. I've been watching a few videos on how to animate on Procreate, and that has certainly piqued my interest, and I quite fancy trying a little bit of illustration. So if I kind of simplify it down and just maybe do the odd quick GIF length animation, I think that might be kind of cool. So watch this space and see if I do it. Next I have a question from Liz, and she asks, what got you into art? I guess that's very similar to the first question, and I probably answered in a roundabout way when I got into it, but not necessarily how I got into it. And to answer Liv's question, it was a drive. There was something in me that that compelled me to do art. I don't know if I have the words to describe that feeling, but if you're an artist yourself and you've experienced that, you probably relate. There was this drive and this desire in me to be able to create. Do I believe in natural talent? I think it exists. Do I have it? I don't know. But I certainly do have the drive and the desire, and I really enjoy how it makes me feel. It is something that gives me a joyful feeling in here. So that's how I got into art, was because of the drive and the desire that I had from a very young age. I have a couple of questions from Mona. Now, for anybody that knows me, you will know that Mona is my moderator in the chat when I go live. So, full disclosure, Mona is a friend of mine. And she asks, if you could get the art studio of your dreams, would it be a large studio or a cosy one? And where would your dream place to have it? Now, this is a really, really interesting question. And I would like to pose it to you, so if you could answer it in the comments, that would be amazing. I would love to hear your answer to this particular question, or love to read your answer to this particular question. So in terms of what would be my ideal studio, I think I would love a cosy studio. I would love something that was very aesthetically pleasing, not minimalist, but more not that I have anything against anything being minimalist. I do like the idea of it being, you know, tidy and clean all the time, but I'm just not that person. It's not really my personality, so I think I would probably prefer, in fact I know I would probably prefer cosy. So I think it would have to have something like, you know, a nice cosy chair, a big armchair to sit in, something like, you know, the shape of the old Sherlock Holmes chair. I don't know, I think that's what they're called anyway. But yeah, it would have to be cosy. It would be amazing to have like a fire. I love having a fire. Might be a little bit dangerous, right enough, but yeah, I love fires. There's just something very meditative about sitting next to a fire. Very hot, but very nice. Where I would like it, if I had a magic wand and I was able to wave it and it worked its magic, my studio would have to be in nature. It would have to be in the middle of nowhere. It would be a log cabin, and of course it would have the fire that I mentioned. It would be a safe fire, but it would be a fire nonetheless, and it would be all like natural woods and sustainable. And yeah, there would be a porch area with a swing chair, and yeah, that would be my happy place. That would be my, if I could have anything that I want and money was no object, then that would be my art studio. It wouldn't need to be too far out of way of civilization. I would like to be able to get to the art store, but yeah, it would definitely be somewhere that was in nature, surrounded by nature, with the most amazing views, and as I said, somewhere nice to sit on the porch with a swing chair, specifically a swing chair. I've clearly watched far too many American programs where they've got their swing chair on the porch, but yeah, that's something that I would love to have. The other question from Mona is, do you listen to music when you do art, or being creative in general, and if so, what kind of music do you like to listen to when you create? Well, the answer used to be yes to listening to music when I create, and the kind of music that I like to listen to is music that I don't know the words to. And the reason for that is because if I hear a song, I will sing, and that would then distract me from painting. So I don't tend to listen to music that I am familiar with and know the words to. But recently, because I had this desire to read more books, I thought I would give audiobooks a go, and it was a free trial that I got, and I figured that it would do no harm to try it. I had always put off listening to books whilst I was painting because I figured that I would switch off to what I was listening to because I was busy painting. But it turns out that actually that's not the case, and I've found that I can actually paint and listen and take on board the story when I'm listening to an audiobook. So that's what I do now when I'm creating. If I can, I will actually listen to an audiobook, and the books that I'm listening to at the moment, I'm now just starting book 6 from a series called The Pillars of Reality. It's a bit of a cross between magic and steampunk, and I'm actually really enjoying it. Is there any particular books that you like? If you have any recommendations, again, feel free, just leave a comment, let me know. So I've got a couple here from Stephanie, and she asks, what is the oldest piece of art supplies or tools that you have, and how long have you had it? And also, do you ever look at work you did a while ago and redo another version of it and see how it changes, maybe in another medium, for example? So the first part of that question, in terms of the supplies, I still have my student acrylic paints that I bought way back when I was probably around about 18, and they're still okay. They must be at least 30 odd years old. Some of them aren't so okay, and those ones got thrown out, but for the most part they were okay, and I think it was because I didn't actually open them until about 8 years ago. So that's the oldest art supplies that I have. I have looked at work and wondered whether I should maybe try and redo them to see what the difference is, but I haven't got round to it yet. I always seem to find something else to try, and I think because I'm so eclectic and there's so many different things that I use, I just haven't found the time to redo old art. So I just keep moving forward rather than looking at the past. But it would be an interesting exercise to do. So if that's something that you would maybe like me to try and record, then let me know in the comments. If I get enough interest in it, then I will do it. If there's not enough interest, then I probably won't, if I'm totally honest. I'm going to be like totally on the level with you guys. If I get enough interest, then it would be worth my while doing. But if I don't get enough interest, then I'm not really sure it would be worth my while, because I don't know if people would watch it. So unless you guys tell me that it's worth watching, then the chances are I will probably not do it. Sandra asks, do you make your own products or do you have them manufactured? Yes and no. There are some of my products that I make myself and others that I don't. So for example, my art prints, they are obviously painted by me, the originals, and photographed by me, and I actually don't outsource for my prints. I will actually print them off. I have a reasonably decent printer, and so I will actually print off art prints. With my Beautiful Bugs series, that is a repeat pattern that I designed with different bugs. So there's bees, there's ladybugs, there's caterpillars, butterflies, and I have created the design, but I've got the fabric printed, and with the fabric I have made the pouches. So the pouches are handmade by me, the design is designed by me, but I got a manufacturer to print the fabric. I have a little bit of jewellery still left available. I hope to make more, but I still have one charm dangle that you can clip onto your bag, onto which to Americans that's your purse, and that I have bought all the individual elements, so the beads and the wire and the chain and things, and I've made that. So if you want to check those out, then head over to www.tartantaz.com/shop, and you'll be able to see what I have available in my shop. I have a question here from Shy. Now Shy has asked, what do you do to overcome art block or days you just do not feel like working? It really depends. It depends on the day, depends on if there's something that I have to get done, and it really depends on what mood I'm in. Because I really do believe that we need to be good to ourselves, and we need to balance out, you know, pushing ourselves forward and knowing the point that actually today's not the day to push us. We need to be looking after ourselves, and I really do believe that. So on the days where I'm just feeling unmotivated, I will probably look at stuff that I know will get me motivated. If I'm in the mood for doing some digital art, I will look at some digital artists. I might even look on Skillshare. I do actually have Skillshare. And a lot of the people that I follow are sponsored by Skillshare, so I automatically think about the types of video, the wording that they use, and how wonderful Skillshare is. But actually, I actually enjoy Skillshare, and I'm not sponsored, but I do enjoy Skillshare. Probably don't watch it as much as I should, but again, it's that time thing. We live in an age where we have so much available to us. It's so difficult to divide our time, and so I totally understand that it's not always easy to get people to pay attention to us, because our attention spans are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But in terms of art block can mean so many different things to different people. Sometimes it's that they don't have the ideas. Other times it's because fear of getting it wrong is what's blocking them from moving forward. So it's probably a video all in itself, but equally giving yourself permission to not push yourself too hard is also okay too. I hope that answers your question, Shy. Although the other part to it, you were saying you just do not feel like working. If I've got a deadline, then that's what motivates me, knowing that I've made a promise and I want to keep the promise, and so I would do that. It might be that I would do something that is totally not what I need to do in order to warm up. So it could be that I just simply grab a bit of paper, grab some paint, and I just get my arm to move. It's a painting that doesn't need to be seen by anybody. It doesn't have to be anything. It just needs to get me started. And once I'm started, I can then usually go on to do the thing that I need to do. So that's probably a little bit more of a rounder answer. So thank you for that question. This is the final question. So thank you everybody for giving me these questions, and I hope this video isn't too long. This question is from Gail, and Gail asks, "Hi there, hope you're having a great day. I'm an artist with all kinds of art mediums, needle, crafting, building, folk art, painting, etc. under my belt. I love exploring different things. Do you think concentrating on one medium is better than exploration?" I wonder if some of my previous answers have kind of sort of touched on what I would answer for this question, because I would actually say that for me personally, exploration is the important thing here. It's not for everybody, and I get that, and I'm not against it. I wouldn't say to anybody, oh, you have to explore, you shouldn't stick to one medium, because I think people need to do what they want to do. So if it's what you want to do, if you want to stick to one medium, then go for it. You've got this. It's your choice. I would encourage people to explore a little bit from the perspective that when you explore a little bit with other things, when you go back to the thing that you're doing, you could potentially have a whole new outlook on your medium of choice. You might decide that actually that isn't your focus anymore and you move on to something else, and that's equally okay. So I would encourage a little bit of experimentation and exploration, but I wouldn't say to people you have to explore, it's the only thing that you've got to do, because people have choices. But for me, I choose to explore. There is nothing more exhilarating for me to explore a new medium, although there's very few left, I have to say, given the answer for one of my questions. But, you know, exploring a new technique, doing something different is just so exciting, and I just get so wrapped up in it, and I do genuinely get excited. And I'm sure my friends will attest to this, because I'm like, I've done this, look, and I share all the time, look what I've done, this is, I've done this painting with this, in this style, and, and it's like, as I said, digital, I'm really getting a kick out of digital at the moment, and I haven't done any like acrylic painting or, I have drawn actually, because I was drawing a little bit of anime when I did a little bit of experimentation with the alcohol markers, working with the alcohol markers, and that was fun. It's not my comfort zone, and I did a live video, so if you haven't seen that live video and you would like to see me cringe, then I'll put it in the iCard and you can go and check it out if you so choose to. I don't know what I'm really doing. I do my best, but yeah, it's fun. I don't really hold with people telling other artists that they're doing things wrong. So when an artist tells another artist, you have to do X, Y, and Z. So I see it all the time. You have to use professional art supplies to be a good artist. No, you don't. I see people say things like, you have to niche down if you want to get seen. No, you don't. I think it works for some people, but is that really what's the greater good in the long term? Because, once you're stuck in that one thing, it becomes a little bit harder to move out of it. So I would much rather be in it for the long game. And I'm hoping that this video and the others to follow will start to help to pave the way forward for me and my channel. I did tend to stick to only posting painting videos. Didn't really do many vlogs, and I kind of stuck to acrylic paints. Not because I thought that people would only watch acrylic painting, but it was more because of the setup and being able to actually film with the camera. I paint in my bedroom at the moment, and I wouldn't paint in oils in my bedroom. I would paint down the stairs in oils because I don't want to sleep with the fumes, and just to be on the safe side. And so I've kind of been a bit samey, and I'm not sure if the fact that I've been doing a lot of digital art recently is putting people off me, or whether it's actually helpful or not. But moving forward, I would like to be known as an eclectic artist, someone who enjoys doing all sorts. I'm really honoured that you're here to help me on my journey, and I hope that you enjoy coming along with me on this new adventure of mine, because I would like to start posting a lot more videos of different mediums and different things. So if that's something that you think that you might enjoy coming along on my journey with, that if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. It really does make the difference. And don't forget, if you've liked this video, to give it the thumbs up. It really does help my channel. If you have a minute, please read the description. There's all sorts of information that I put in the description that might be useful to you. So different links to where I am on my different social medias and things. So I think I've probably rambled enough, and I really do hope that you have enjoyed this video and decide to join me on this next stage of my art adventure. Now don't forget, look after your mental well-being, because nobody else can. Take care everybody. Bye for now.